So what is actually costing you deals and revenue in 2026? Hi, I'm Amy Looper. I am the founder of Resilient Growth and a 20-year veteran of software sales and complex sales and helping people really navigate that process of growing revenue when, let's face it, buyers have a big trust issue with vendors right now. So we've got to get ahead of it. So let's talk about the real things that are costing you revenue. And it's probably not just your messaging. Okay. For some, it may be messaging if you're not generating leads, but let's say you have leads coming in and you're looking at, well, I need to increase the win rate. I need to scale my sales team. I need to hire, right? I'm in a place of growth, but for some reason, you're just seeing things either plateau or stall out, or the buyer behavior might be changing as well. So we're going to look at some areas that may be blocking you from growing that revenue. Number one, if you've gone through any large amount of change, maybe you have grown through M&A, maybe you have been acquired. If you're on any part of that big swing of change and transformation, you may be at risk for your reps and your teams burning out or your mid-level managers burning out, right? And we want to prevent that. Well, how can we do that? A couple of different thoughts here. When our people in the field, especially, are burning out, how does that really show up? Yes, they may be calling in. Yes, they might be going golfing on a Friday. Like, they might be doing those things. But in the sales process, they may not be asking deep enough questions. They might be phoning it in and just trying to get some transactions in the door to meet their number and then, moving on. They're trying to find the path of least resistance, the customers that are easy enough layups to just kind of phone it in because their energy is drained. Well, we want to help them be able to manage their energy differently, manage their schedules differently, and take work off their plate. One of the things I did as a sales leader when I was working for a company, we went through three owners, I think, in 2 years. Yeah, 3 owners in 2 years. It was nuts. It was a lot of change, and the customers definitely felt it. There was a lot of questions in the marketplace of what is happening, what is going on, and we had to hedge all of that, right, in sales. And so, what did I do for my team to really kind of protect them from a lot of the other stuff that was happening internally? Was that I just removed work from their plate. I made sure that we were only giving the information that we absolutely had to report on, not because it wasn't important, but because my reps had to sell more. The average rep right now is selling about 25% of the time. 25%. And so that's an issue, right? If we're not spending our time in that, well, your revenue is not going to grow. Just like if you were a business owner, it's the same thing. You have to really prioritize that. And so I made sure that my reps were only focused on the things that were going to drive revenue forward. And also in that particular time, it was about keeping customers happy because they had gone through a lot of change too. So they were having to take on all of that. The other thing I think you can do as well is really just lead by example. Lead with congruency on high performance. If you've done any kind of high performance coaching or work, you know that you really have to work on how you're showing up as a leader, how you're showing up in your energy. And let me tell you, it's not just about mindset, you guys. You can't just flip your mindset if your body is feeling burned out and unsafe. So you've got to do things to support your overall well-being, process anything that might be really, really big happening if you're going through big life changes, or if you as a leader are maybe you're going through some burnout stuff. You will know if it requires more than a vacation, you will just feel that drain and you will know that something is off. So I've worked with leaders over the last few years on strengthening those muscles of what I call resilience, because for me, resilience is not about powering through. It's not about gritting it out. It is about really staying emotionally regulated and leading with congruency. And when you model that, your team will mirror that back. You create this culture that naturally has psychological safety and trust. And guess what that drives? trust with your customer. That's the next one. We are at a trust recession with the markets. I don't care which customer, which market, which industry you're in right now. Like, the overall globe is in kind of a trust recession right now. No one knows what's going on with the economy, like what's up, what's down. It changes all the time. What is happening with buyer behavior? It's shifting as well. AI, obviously, creating a lot of change and transformation, a lot of good things, but also just change and transformation for human beings can be scary. And that creates that trust gap and anxiety a little bit in the buying cycle. So before they even get to your website, they're doing a lot more research than ever before. But their guard is up more than ever before. And you feel that, you're in a meeting and it's like, we have this energy exchange in business and in just everyday life when we're working with other human beings. And we feel that it's like, hey, we're not the bad guy. We're trying to solve your problem. But how can we build enough trust in that initially and within nanoseconds, right? Within nanoseconds. So I teach people how to really connect with people very quickly to create that level of trust and connection so that we can get to the root cause of like your issue and see if we can really solve that, right? And so when I coach, for instance, I coach students and entrepreneurs and tech leaders at Harvard Business School, and we're teaching them how to manage a complex selling cycle. And, anybody can follow a sales framework. There's a million of them out there. And I would say they're all good. They're all good. I don't care if you use Medic or Challenger or, solution selling, like they're all a great way to organize how you're approaching solving problems for a client, especially in the enterprise. However, no one's teaching you how to really connect relationally. They're not teaching you how to create and foster that trust initially. And I think that's where the gap is that I serve a lot too, and the things that I work with in teams, because we have to help that customer feel at ease and create psychological safety and trust for them to even allow us to ask questions. And then if we're very skilled at asking the right questions, we're able to help that customer connect the dots between their pain points and the true cost of staying status quo, right? Because face it, right now, if people are more in that recessionary kind of mindset, they're pulling back their spending in their minds. They're more in scarcity. They're more in fear, anxiety, those kind of things that do not say like, here's my credit card. We have to bring out and connect the dots for them, help them. By the time we're done with discovery, the way I teach it, those clients that are truly qualified will be able to really sell themselves. They'll be able to say like, oh no, you're right. Like the problem is too much. It's costing me too much. It's costing my team too much or my organization too much. The risk is too great. I need to solve this now versus, keep hemorrhaging the issue, right? Lastly, process and friction. Process friction. If we're making it too hard for either our buyers to engage with us or our sellers to get their job done, I can't tell you how many organizations I've worked with that really they're having a hard time. Like they've proven go to market, they've proven product market fit, they've got great customers, but the customer journey is really wonky. And it leaves that customer to maybe come in at a certain point and buy, but there's like no follow on or there's just too much friction to even get things done. Or you're burning out your sales team and seeing high turnover on your sales team because it's just too hard for them to go to market and sell, right? Like managing orders or getting things through a process on the back end post sale is so not fun for them. It's slowing them down on the sales that they're spending more time post sale just trying to keep the customers they just sold. That's a huge problem, right? So some of these things might resonate with you, and if they do, and you feel like, gosh, I really want to solve these, like let's hop on a call and talk about what might be happening. I have over the last 6 years, I've run some consulting and some coaching and really gotten deep into behavioral coaching, because I think it's just a game changer for any business leader, especially sales, when they work through some of these things, like getting over fear of rejection and fear of just those fears and anxieties that come up when having to be face to face with customers every single day, and finding that energy to get back up the next day and do the same thing, even though you risk being told no, right? Sales is not the easiest thing, but for people that master it, it can be amazing. And so my goal here is to help you guys scale revenue. My goal is also, if you're looking for a leader to plug in that go-to-market space and enablement, I'm here to support your team as well. So I'd love to connect with you. And that connection link is right below this video. We'll talk to you soon, and I hope this is helpful.